Oh, hey, weirdos, it's me, Dan.
And his brother Jake.
All right, so what I was trying to say before...
We tried this earlier. It lasted 47 seconds before the computer broke.
People will be shocked to hear that our computer is not the best.
It seems like such a high-budget podcast. You can tell right from the get-go when the theme song is played from phone speakers at variable distances from the microphone.
Well, what is that thing called? That it has two antennas, and they use it in Good Vibes on the Beach Boys song.
Oh, a Thurman.
A Thurman?
Thurman, yeah.
Thurman. Yeah, so I kind of do that when I'm playing.
Yep.
Yeah, except like in a different key and on a different tune. I do that when I'm doing my phone. When I'm doing the opening theme tune.
Yeah, the theme. I had the theme from the X-Files in my head today. Man, those are great. You know, and I think, I don't know if they use a theremin or if it's somebody whistling. Now, as soon as I said that, that's like the Death Star sound. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. I haven't watched the X-Files since it was actually airing on television when I was a young boy.
Yeah, I was in high school. I think I watched a lot of it at that time. So that
all I remember is that David Duchovny was a sex addict. And I don't know whether that was just publicity or...
No, you're getting your wires crossed a little bit, because David Duchovny also made a show called The Red Shoe Diaries that was on Showcase late at night. And It was like softcore pornography. But it was unrelated. I don't think David Duchovny is a sex addict. I think he played one in the Red Shoe Diaries.
Now I've got to Google it, of course.
Of course, you thought Jim Morrison was buried at the 50-yard line of Charter Stadium.
David Duchovny, sex addict.
Guaranteed. It's going to come up with the Red Shoe Diaries.
Addiction. Already off to a great start. I'm not a sex addict, Duchovny told Playgirl magazine in a 1997 interview. I have never been to those meetings. It's hurtful to my family, and if I was involved with a woman in a monogamous relationship, it would be hurtful to her. Okay, so I was wrong. There you go.
Although obviously somebody else got made the same mistake.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was like one of the, like the rumor that Marilyn Manson removed one of his ribs so he could suck his own dick. I think it was one of those rumors that was going around back in the day.
There's also the rumor that he was Paul from the Wonder Years.
Yeah. Yeah, no, just a guy is who he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's been a few months.
I know. Look,
the last time we did a podcast, we had gotten cut off by a computer failure at the end of the podcast. It was actually, and we were like, we'll do a long one because it's been a while, and it cut off like the second half of the podcast.
I mean, it's just not bad. I mean,
you're not missing
probably
anything.
Helps with our listenership that it's not an extra half hour of complete fucking shit.
I have friends.
Speaking
like
of
that,
shit, I bought a new bidet.
You're giving it another go after the last one sprayed the underside of your toilet seat out of control.
Sprayed not only the underside of the toilet seat raw, but also my anus. This one has even more potential for disaster because it's electric. So I plugged it into my wall with an extension cord because we haven't had the electrician out to actually fit the socket into the wall yet, but it's heated. And it blow dries your bum hole after you've done poopy doops. So it gives you a heated toilet seat, heated water, and a little whisper of a warm breeze.
I'm picturing some scientist in a room in a white lab coat looking at a whiteboard, and he writes down this formula, and it's like water, H2O plus electricity plus anus equals money.
Comfort. Oh, money. Yes. Well,
No
you know what? You know what
problems.
sparked this again?
Sparked.
And I
No pun
apologize. I apologize that this is where I tell the story and not just, hey, brother, get this.
Yeah.
But you know that the last podcast was called Cornhole.
Yeah.
And it was because I had exponentially increased my consumption of popcorn since getting my big screen TV.
Because you got a new TV, right?
Yeah. Well, that was misery for my anus. And I was like, you know what? If any part of my body deserves a little bit of pampering, so to speak, it is my bunghole. So now I can just blast those popcorn kernels right off.
Well,
And-
but I assume you still use toilet paper. I mean,
Well, really, it's just to dry. Like, it's just to dab any areas that weren't
I don't know,
completely
man. I've gone to the
blow-dried.
touchless car wash, and I come out, and my car is still totally covered in dust and
Well,
grime.
hopefully the shit on my asshole after I've done a crap has not been sitting there for a couple of weeks.
Well, if it seems like your ass is growing fish scales, those are all the popcorn pieces that the water does not actually remove. We're off
Well,
to
what's
a,
really funny is
great
that,
start on this one.
you know,
On this
I got it.
Paranormal podcast.
I got it. And Slim, you're a fucking asshole. I got it, and it was this novelty for the children. So they were like, I want to give it a go. And Elijah does not do a great job in wiping his ass.
Doesn't properly.
And
work.
I told him, oh, mate, it's great. It wipes your ass for you, kind of figuratively. And
Yeah.
he sat down I made it go. It's got a remote control. And I got it going. And he was like, oh, stop. Mum, this thing is rubbish. It doesn't wipe it just makes your ass wet. It doesn't actually wipe your ass. He thought that
He was picturing
this
like
little,
a robot arm.
little
with
hand
this-
that comes out and goes, whip, whip, whip.
Just a small man living behind your toilet.
Turns out he had this service since birth because
So
someone
does this
else
thing
was.
have? I mean, I got questions about this because it doesn't just sit in the way or you crap on it, right? So it obviously it goes in and then you press a button and it extends and then
Yep.
and then it does its duty. But
Yeah, literally.
I guess what I'm wondering is, so like where my child sits on the toilet versus where I sit on the toilet, it's a totally different spot.
The remote control has a positioning thing, so you can make it go forward, you can make it go back.
Okay, so it's not like it doesn't have a camera in it that's looking for, like with an AI program. Some poor guy in a Chinese factory watching assholes and aiming at them.
Although, they have those remote controlled, like on the internet controlled claw machines. I could see, like, not only would this company be making money, but we could also make a few dollars by allowing people to blow the shit off of people's ass using high pressure water cannons.
It's an untapped vein of potential entertainment. It kind of
Like, oh,
combines like the weird, satisfying videos of like Play-Doh being squished in a hydraulic press
Yes.
with strange,
Gaming.
Pornographic fetishism. And and first-person shooter games. So,
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, might be sitting on a gold mine.
I have had a rough couple of months since we last talked. But one thing I was going to say at the end of the podcast last time, I don't even think I ever even told you the story, but our friend Rob, God bless Rob, listens to this podcast for some
poor
unknown
guy.
reason. But I was talking to Luke. Luke's father, Corey, who goes to our church. I was talking to him
Oh, I
when
thought
Jack
you were going
was
to
in
say
soccer.
Darth Vader.
No, yeah, Luke's father. Yeah, exactly. No, I was talking to this guy Corey, he's active in the church, and what we would do, we'd go to soccer practices with Jack, and I would walk around the track at soccer practice because I don't have time to exercise, and I mean it's soccer, so you just you don't have to pay 100% attention to what's going on.
Yeah, because nothing
And
ever happens.
and Corey came out and walked with me, and he's a super nice guy, by the way. So one thing in case we get cut off, Corey recommended a podcast called Knife Point Horror, and it's a short story podcast, and it's excellent. So that's something I thank you, Corey, for that. And he actually listens to this podcast too, and was recommended
Apologies. Sorry, Corey.
by Rob.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Corey. He's a super nice guy. Anyway, but I was feeling a little bit, insecure because I haven't really been to church since I went at Christmas. But other than that, since COVID started, I haven't taken my family to church, and my son is like growing up like a heathen.
Yeah, same.
I don't know. He has like last year he had some Jesus Santa Claus confusion. It's like this whole I'm a terrible father. Anyway, but I took Corey. I was walking with Corey, and I was talking to him, and I said, "Yeah, no, I haven't been back, but I really miss like the church family. Rob's a super nice guy. Matt's a really good guy. He's like Matt."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, Matt, the youth pastor at the church." He said, "How long has it been since you were there?" I said, "Oh, I don't know, not that long." He goes, "Yeah, well, Matt left like 2 years ago. He works at GM now. he sells Suburbans."
Oh, golly.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So, sorry, everyone from the church.
So, I've been living in this weird little bubble where nothing happens. In fact, to the point that I really have lost all track of time. And it's not because I'm in lockdown. I can go out. I'm very free. I have to wear a mask indoors. But other than that, there's no restrictions. The days go by like a blink of the eye. It is so bizarre. So I'm really relying on you to tell me information. I mean, I got the bidet. That was the highlight of this, like...
this 2-month period.
Yeah, at least. How long has it been since we recorded?
It's been
has
about
it been
2 months.
2 months?
I would say
That's
so. I
funny.
think it was June. And
I
now
did
it's
put a
August.
disclaimer at the beginning of that last podcast that we got cut off, but in a short 6 to 8 weeks, we would be recording again.
Exactly. Just about on the 8-week mark, I think.
Yeah, at least we're predictable in our unpredictability.
Yeah.
So what's been going on with you, brother?
Well, I had I nearly got shot, which was interesting.
Whoa.
So
Hunting?
No, it's not hunting season here yet. As you guys know,
Apparently it is.
I have a little fishing camp, and the place where the camp is it's in the backcountry of New Brunswick. So it's
Alan Legier territory.
Alan Legier territory and that kind of thing. And I'm not look, I pride myself on always being a nice guy. Like I try to be always nice to strangers. Like I would never come across. There are some
people I know cop the wrath.
No, there are some people who take it like occasionally, and in my opinion, you have to push me pretty hard. You have to be a pretty big jerk for me to lose my temper at you. Unless you're in my direct family. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But where I am out in the backcountry in New Brunswick, it's a rougher area, and I think people kind of pride themselves on being tough guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They don't have much else in life.
Yeah.
Except for like I'm tough. You should fuck me.
Yeah. And they like to look down on everyone who's not from there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I kind of understand that, but people see me out there with a fishing camp and they just go, "Oh, rich asshole from St. John." Or whatever.
And you're like,
what I mean?
They do know me. And
I'm like,
so I can lose it with these guys because obviously they do know me.
Like, if your whole paradigm when you live in the country and you don't travel is totally different. The richest people in New Brunswick live in the country and own like acres and acres of land, and they have farms and stuff like that, right? But they don't go to the city and see people in Lamborghinis and shit like that. Like, so they assume anybody who has a little fishing camp from the city is like the epitome of rich assholeness. Like, ooh, you guys got to see what it's like out in the big world, because there's some richer assholer people out there.
Assholier.
Assholier than thou. Anyway, so our camp is on this sort of idyllic little part of the river, and what happened was it got really hot. We've had a heat wave all August, and the river's dried up to just this little narrow channel of water. So you can't fish because the fish are too stressed, and they're all like down in the cold water pools. So you don't want to kill them or anything. So so they turned off fishing, and I said, well, that's fine. I was having a couple guys up, our friend Jonathan, and I don't think you know Andrew, but he's my lawyer. He's also my friend. And I told them, look, there's no fishing. Are you guys still okay coming up? Yeah, we're coming up to, have an evening up at the camp and, have a barbecue and shoot the shit kind of thing. I said, okay. So I went up the day before and mowed the lawn, made the place nice. And then and I bought a stackable washer dryer, the big tall things. Yeah. And God help me, I got it there in the truck. It was 280 pounds. Plus all the packaging and shit. And I had to figure out, I had bought a dolly. I had to figure out how to get it in. A dolly's a hand truck for those not from here. Anyway, so that was big. It was a big day for me. And it was a lot of work getting that son of a bitch in the camp. And I had to get the old ones out, and I found a guy who wanted them, and then I had to help him load them. So I was pretty tired. And then the boys showed up, and there was nothing to do, so had a few drinks. Jonathan complained that my view was obscured by brush growing from my bank. So after a few drinks, he put on his safety flip-flops and took my chainsaw outside and cut the brush from the cliff. I was like, John, please, man, I can't call your father and explain why your foot is missing at the ankle.
Cool.
He's like, no, it's fine. He said, I'm a full-service stockbroker. It's pretty funny. So we had a good night. Had a few drinks. I didn't drink maybe as much, but we probably went through a bottle of scotch between the three of us from.
Oh, barf. Yeah,
right. From noon until midnight.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'd have maybe one or two, and then I'd be like, "Bloop." That's diarrhea.
Well, it wasn't. Yeah, it was enough that I was like, "Ooh, I'm not going to feel great in the morning." But so be it. Try to sleep in if I can. Also, there's no AC and it's a heat wave. You do what you can.
Heat wave.
So I thought when I went to bed,
did you guys sing songs like that, just around the camp, with my friends?
Yeah, I wished you were there because we would have had a fun night if you were there. But we sat and watched a sunset across the river. There's a mountain called Taylor Mountain. It's where my your cousin and mine, the Bill Taylor family, they owned that land for a long time. Now this is 100 years ago. They don't still, but it's still called that. So you look out and there's this beautiful old growth forest across the way, and I'd been thinking it's a cliff, and you can't fish from that side, and it's a sheer cliff, and I thought, geez, I wonder how the hell I could potentially buy that so nobody clear cuts it because it's so pretty. So I went to bed knowing, I got to sleep in. I'm tired. I'm probably going to be a bit hungover. And I'm trying to cut down on drinking, so having 3 or 4 scotches was quite a hit to the system because I've been doing a lot better, not drinking much. And I woke up at 5 a.m. and I thought, what in the fuck? I could hear work going on and trees coming down and this big crashing and booming and all this stuff. And the neighbors are putting in a driveway, and I thought, oh God, it's got to be the driveway going in. But I kept looking out and I couldn't see any of the trees moving or anything. So, oh geez, I went back to sleep, got up at 6 o'clock. This noise is still going on. If anything, it's even louder. And I said, okay, well, I got to go investigate this. So I got out of bed and put on some shorts, little fucking cargo shorts and my tank top.
The Canadian uniform, basically.
Yeah, the summer uniform and my sandals. And I walked outside, and sure enough, the fucking mountain across the river, they're clear cutting it.
No.
Yeah. That forest has been there for 300 years. It has not been cut in 300 years. And I bought this camp and they're fucking cutting it.
Do you think they knew that they were going to clear cut it when they sold the camp?
No, because the permit was put in this spring. So I've checked it all out. Anyway, fuck, man. So my thought was, it's not a huge piece of land. Like it's, I don't know, it'd be like 2 acres of wood facing me. And if they clear cut the other side of the mountain, I mean, they would get most of their wood from that side. And then if they clear cut my side, it would only be an extra 2 acres worth of cutting, right? And it had these beautiful big pine trees, like these huge trees, and then all these birch trees that turn bright yellow in the fall. Is so pretty.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh shit. I came up with this plan like on the spot. I was like, if I go over there and I find the guy who owns it, and I offer to pay him for the price of the timber on this side of the mountain plus 10% to leave it alone for 20 years, and I pay the company that's logging it their fee plus 10% not to log it, maybe they'll just leave it the fuck alone. Because it's like my whole view, right? It's all I can see when I sit on the camp.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's early, but I was like, fuck it. Maybe the guy who owns it is the one cutting it, because a lot of people out there own the machines and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I got in the car, drove all the way down, to the nearest town, crossed the bridge, came up the other side of the river on this backcountry road, and I find this clear cut, and fuck, it's huge. It's like 3 kilometers back from the road. All this guy's land is like way out to the river. But I didn't want to park on his land in case he was an arsehole. So I parked on the side of the road and got out in my fucking sandals and just started hoofing it. Because I could hear the trees coming down. Like, there was not a lot, right? It's a small side of the mountain. So I hoof it through the clear cut. And as I'm running like a lunatic, this fucking black bear runs out in front of me. And it stops and looks at me, and I was like, I can't slow down, so I just kept running towards it.
Come with me, bear!
I kept running towards it.
I'm fighting for you, bear!
It turned around and just booted it into the woods. So, it's like, yeah, fuck yes. Get out of my way.
I am Bear Man.
I get to the top of the mountain, and it's fucking steep. This guy has basically, used a skidder to create essentially like a road that goes down the side of a cliff, and it's covered in logs and debris, right? These things, like, they cut the tree, they pick it up, and they strip it, and all the limbs fall on the ground. And then they stack the log.
Good thing you don't have snakes there, because that would be a nightmare.
Oh, well, I mean, it was like a minefield, right? Because you're running on these logs that are over a cliff that are...
Be honest, were you in your head, were you like, and it goes whirling down and down
it did
water.
occur to me. Yeah, that's a part of our heritage commercial from the 1980s and 90s in Canada about the log driver.
Log drivers.
Anyway, so I get down close enough to this machine, because I know the guy's cutting these big trees, and he's got this big arm on the machine, so I don't want to get too close, because fuck, if he doesn't see me, I'm going to get squashed. But I get to a point where he can see me, and I start shouting, hello, hello. I shouted. And I'm standing on, like, this stump. Yeah, I'm trying to say it nicely, because I'm like, people out there have guns and shit because of the bears. So I'm just, like, trying to be nice.
Hey, I'm the Lorax!
Yeah. Waving my arms. Hello, hello. Finally, he sees me, and he turns off the machine, and I said, look, I'm really sorry to bother you. I just wondered, do you own this land? And he said, no, we're working for this guy. I won't say his name. He works for Irving. I said, okay, do you have his number by any chance? I was going to call him and make him an offer just for this, just to leave the timber up. And then I thought I'd offer your guys' construction company, the price that you were going to get, not to do it, if that's... So he said, oh, I don't know it, but I'll call my foreman. So he calls the foreman. And he's like, just to warn you, the foreman's a bodybuilder. I was like, oh, well, I'm not calling to, like, I'm not here to protest or anything. I'm just here to, see if I can make a deal with this guy. So finally, the guy's phone rings, and he waves me over, and he's like, here, this is Jamie. And I can hear the guy on the phone going, tell him to get the fuck out of there. Get the fuck off my land. So I pick up the phone, and I say, oh, hi, Jamie. He goes, fuck you, man. Get the fuck out of there. I'm sending the police. You're going to jail today. I said, I think maybe we got our wires crossed a bit. I'm not here to stop you from doing whatever you're doing here. I said, I was calling to make you an offer. I don't want to hear it. Get the fuck out of there. I said, listen, dude. I said, I live across the water from you. I'm a doctor. I'm not a lunatic. I was going to offer you, if you're just clear cutting this for the price of the timber, can I pay you for the price of the timber plus 10% and pay these guys their fee plus 10% not to cut it? That's all I'm calling to ask you. Never got through. Like, he could not get over.
Yeah, he was seeing red.
He was seeing red. I don't know what he thought I was doing, but he was like, I'm gonna, if I ever see you on my fucking land again, I'm gonna shoot you. I said, first of all, you're not gonna shoot me, and you're gonna see me every day if you're here, because I live 20 feet across the water in that direction.
Yeah.
So it turns out he's building like a trailer park across from me on the fucking mountain.
No.
Yeah. They don't have electricity. They don't have running water. But this guy has decided that this is an opportune time to clear cut the entire mountain and build a fucking trailer park across the water with no electricity.
Wow.
And then he also threatened to shoot me if he ever sees me again. Wow. And so I assume my camp has been burned to the ground by now.
Well, is it insured?
It is, yeah.
Well, there you go.
No, and I'll know who did it. I mean, I know who did it if it happens. But anyway, so I was just like, oh, fuck, man. I said, look, I tried to explain. I tried to be nice. Just kill him with kindness, you know. But
Yeah.
he was just screaming at me the whole, like a complete asshole, like a total fucking asshole. Anyway, very unpleasant. So. And really,
would not recommend.
10 out of 10, biggest asshole I've ever dealt with in my life on the first meeting.
No, I don't know. We've met some doozies.
Yeah, this was like, if this guy had been there, he'd have taken a swing at me for sure.
Yeah. It's incompetent people or it's stupid people that drive me nuts.
That's what it is, because he was like, he couldn't get over the fact that I dared go onto his land. And I was like, how the fuck else would I reach out to you, dude?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's no other way of getting a hold of you because your fucking name's not on the property ID. So this is all I could come up with. Anyway, whatever. This guy was an arsehole. But as I just gave up. I told the guy, you know, I was nice to the guy in the skidder. I said, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry to interrupt your time. You know, send me an invoice if I had, you know, you're down for 10 minutes if you want to bill me for your time. He was fine about it. He was like, no, dude, that's fine. So on my way, I got to climb back up this mountain, though. And it's, you know, I'm like, my leg went down through the logs. I cut myself up. Like, it was a fucking nightmare. Anyway, I get up to the top of the mountain. Then I get down through the clear cut down towards my car. And as I'm coming out, the foreman pulls up. Huge dude, covered in tattoos, seeing red, and about to turn me into human jello. Like, he was just, he was ready to jump out of the car. Like, his door was open and the car was rolling, and he was going to kill me. And I said, I just kind of put my hands up. I was like, sorry, man, you can beat me up if it makes you feel better. I really don't give a shit. I said, if you want to punch me or give me a black eye or whatever, go for it. I said, I was here to offer you guys money and offer him money, not to clear cut the side of the mountain. I had no intention of, like, stopping your work or causing a headache. I thought maybe it would give everyone a day off that they're paid for, essentially. And then I would still have a view from across the water. And then he was still really mad. And I said, look, man, I'm not a crazy person. I'm a doctor who treats stroke patients. I'm just like, you know, it's important to me that it doesn't get clear cut. I guess it's going to anyway, but, you know, nothing I can do about it. I had to try. Then he was okay. He was like, all right, man, I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay. He said, but what do I do about the downtime? I was like, send me a bill. You know, it's probably 10, 15 minutes. Just send me an invoice. You know, whatever. Okay, man. Okay. All right. So he let me go. But this other guy had, like, threatened to shoot me if he ever sees me again. And I think that guy was on his way to kill me. I think they were going to kill me and bury me in the woods. Honestly, like I could see it in his face that was a possibility of what was going to happen. Fuck, man. These people.
So what's the view like though with it? Had they clear cut it?
I left. I was just like, I'm fucking disgusted with this. I couldn't
Because
watch
if they
them.
were going to try to make it look nice for people to rent the place, they're not going to like completely clear cut it.
Nobody's gonna rent it. It's got no running water or power. They're just the guy's a lunatic.
Maybe they'll put a couple of lean-tos up there.
Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Well, you know what you can do.
There are some trees I don't think they can clear cut because they're literally it is literally a cliff. Like it's just a sheer cliff. So what they're going to do is they're going to put some fucking campers down there, and they're going to wash away the first time there's a storm and end up in the river, and it's going to fucking ruin the salmon fishing. People just, man, they just drive me crazy. Anyway, and I felt like a shit. They made me feel bad. Like, that made me feel small. And I was like, what the fuck, man? They're like, oh, you fucking idiot. What are you fucking doing? I was like, I'm not a fucking idiot. What are you talking about? But in my mind, I'm like, am I an idiot? Maybe.
Maybe.
I guess I don't know how logging works, but I'm like, fuck. I do know how money works. I know how the economy works.
Don't they have to like put a notice up saying, hey, we're thinking about logging here or building this, and it has to be up. Signage is available for anyone affected by it, and then you have an opportunity to lobby to the council. Is that not a thing there?
I found the notice. You know where it was? It was about 2/3 of the way between the road and the water, in the middle of his forest.
Oh, right. Yeah. So yeah, that sucks.
I was just so pissed off. I don't know. I don't even care as much about the whole, like, fuck my views, fuck there's going to be a trailer park across the water. I don't really give a shit. But the thing I was really pissed off about was the guy saying, I'd be within my rights to shoot you if I ever see you again. What the fuck? Who designed your version of the law? You're definitely not within your rights to shoot me, you stupid fuck. And I thought, geez, I sit on the board of, I sit on all these committees. I go to all these, dinners. I know the guy's boss. It's so tempted just to say, you got to get rid of this fucking asshole. But I'm not going to.
Well, yeah, then you'd be part of the cancel culture.
Yeah, I'm not going to. But see where it comes from, because I was irritated. I was pissed.
But you know what we could do, though? And I know that it didn't work for Mum's Cottage, but maybe for you, we could do some Home Alone tactics. And when those things do come up, then you get the, the flashing lights and the loud music that plays randomly.
Oh, these guys will just shoot you. They'll just shoot you and burn your camp to the ground and put the body in there and pay the police $20 to ignore the bullet hole.
No. I'm talking about like when people are like potentially going to rent there, and then his Yelp reviews will go way down.
Yeah, nobody. I don't think he's renting it out. I think he's using it for himself. Unfortunately.
Oh, that's unlucky.
Yeah.
You really are going to have to deal with him. And he probably doesn't care that there's no running water or electricity, because he probably happily shits in a bucket and, lights his way with his cigarettes.
It's just a jerk. What a fucking... Yeah. The world is full of jerks, but this guy, man, he took the cake. I was really pissed.
There is there are the occasional anal sphincters that just cannot be cleaned.
The other thing that happened was that, actually a couple things have happened since we talked. One was that I bought a utility trailer, which was the cheapest utility trailer.
Oh, I saw Kijiji. That. I saw that thread that you and Chrissy were talking about, that the wiring.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I bought this utility trailer from a man who, there's no other way to say it, was probably a drug dealer it was pretty sketchy. He was a super nice guy, but he had built this thing by hand, and it's not very good. It's
there's your first sort of red flag. How much did it cost you?
It was just under $1,000.
Okay, so just for reference, my 6x8 foot fully galvanized stainless steel utility trailer was $1,500.
Yeah, well, this is a 6 by 8 foot galvanized steel utility trailer, painted black, presumably to cover up the rust. But
Mine was brand new, though. Brand new.
but his was set up for a 1 7/8 inch ball, which is what you put on the back of a lawn tractor and stuff. So I was thinking, oh, maybe it's not as heavy duty as I was imagining when I saw it on the ad.
Yeah.
But then when I went to move it, it was so fucking heavy that I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's going to last a while." So I took it.
Well, I mean, did you take the 80 kilograms of cocaine out of the wheel wells?
No, it would have been worth a lot more than $1,000. But the wheels are toast. The tires are cracked. The thing hasn't been used in years. So I said, I agreed I'd take it. And then when I went to pay him, I realized, oh, there's no hookup for the taillights. Fuck. He's cut the wiring out of it. So then I bought wiring. I towed the thing over to Mom's place. Bought wiring. Spent a whole day underneath this thing. So first I tested it, made sure...
Wait, is this in Mum's home or the cottage?
The cottage. So tested everything, like left blinker, right blinker, four-way flashers, and brake lights. Everything worked. So I said, okay, so I've got this end of the wiring, and then I went underneath this fucking trailer in the 45-degree heat and took
Painted black.
Painted black, and it was fucking hot. And I wired it all, all the way underneath. I'm not an electrician. This is stuff I don't do. I don't know what I'm doing. So it took me a long time. Zip tied everything really carefully and then hooked it all up. But I didn't have any solder, so I had to twist wires together and then cover them with electrical tape. As you do, but it's a long job. And then I hooked it up to the car. Instantly get all the error messages. Right turn signal fault. Left turn signal fault. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sure the ground wire is broken, that I broke it somehow while I was doing this. But I was just like, I just felt beside myself over this trailer. Like, I was like, how could I spend so much time and not get this done? Yeah. And which brings me to the end of the Camp Lane story. So at the camp, after admitting defeat and, coming back with my tail between my legs to these two guys who are getting up and ready for another day at the camp, I was like, oh my God, I got to do a laundry because all my clothes were covered in sawdust and shit, from the... I only had the one pair of shorts. So I went to do a laundry in the new laundry unit, and I thought, I better just make sure it works before I start the laundry. And so I turned on the laundry machine, and instantly all the smoke came out. It's brand new. I just bought it and brought it there.
Did you forget to take the bearing
rod
protectors
out?
out?
No, the bearing protector was out. I don't know what the hell. So after that, I just said, guys, I'm going to admit defeat and go home. You're welcome to stay, but I'm leaving because I can't fucking be here right now.
And had you already sold your other ones?
Yes. I gave them away for free, and I desperately needed them because my clothes were filthy. So I just left. I was like, fuck it, I'm out. Got in the car, drove home, called a appliance guy, and I was like, go in. I left the door unlocked. Take whatever you want. There's no gate. The door's unlocked. Help yourself. I left all my food in the fridge. I left chicken and stuff there. I was like,
were they new?
I don't care if I ever go
machines,
back.
Right?
Brand new. Yeah. So GE is technically paying the repair bill. What happened was it came with a broken bearing.
Oh, that is some unlucky business.
Yeah. The appliance guy was really good. But after cutting my losses...
Did he stack them for you? Because that would be a pain in the ass.
No, I had already stacked. It's all one unit. It's just this huge, tall... You can't even take them apart. That's what made it so hard to get them in there.
Yeah, right.
You
probably broke it getting it in.
Well, I don't think so because
yes.
No. I thought maybe it broke in the car on the way up, but it's in this like protective box covered full of styrofoam and stuff, right?
Yeah, right.
Like I just got rid of the garbage, but it was the amount of recycled cardboard we put out today was probably in the vicinity of 100 pounds of cardboard.
I was imagining you carrying this thing in, like, just
Bare metal.
naked.
Yeah.
Not you. The thing was out of the box and everything.
Yeah. No, we got it in, and yeah, that's the end of my sad tale. It's kind of a depressing story, and it has nothing to do with paranormal or anything, but that's where I'm at now. I'm just kind of just this low grade misery, but it does make people happy when other people are miserable. So hopefully, you're one of those people, and my plight and misery will make your day.
Yeah, that's
Because I
pretty...
was thinking, God, I have this little piece of paradise. How lucky am I? I felt so blessed. And they built a trailer park on it, and I fucking hate it now. I just wish I'd never bought it.
You know, there's paved paradise and put up a parking lot, and then there's paved paradise and put up a trailer park, which really just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows?
Sad.
Maybe it will be totally fine.
You know what? It'll be okay. If you were up here, see, the thing is, and I love Jonathan and Andrew, very nice, good friends, but they're not you. You're not, you know, they don't know me. They don't know me like you know me, like family knows me.
They don't know about, like, my bipolar problem.
Well, I don't have a bipolar problem, but I do, you know, like, I couldn't say anything. If you were there, I would be like, dude, what the fuck do I do? And you would make fun of me, and then I would feel better, you know?
Yeah,
But
like, we would find a way to make their lives misery.
yeah, well, exactly. We would come up with something, or you would just make merciless fun of me, and everything would be fine.
Well, you know, I think if nothing else, if there is anything that we can do that's passive aggressive, as is my normal sort of revenge tactics, I would paint something horrendous on your roof that only they would be able to see.
Thought of it. Already thought of it. Yeah, that was my first thought. Fuck you,
like,
Jamie.
No, I wouldn't. No. It would have to be something that when you looked at it, you'd be like, oof.
Just a big spunkin' dick.
No. It would have to be, like, awful. Like, to the point where people would look at it and go, so, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, if I really wanted to get Jamie's goat up, I'd just put a Black Lives Matter sign on there.
Yeah,
you know,
I think we got this. We can cancel it.
I don't have a problem with anybody. You know, as you know, I couldn't give less.
Well, I
of a
mean,
shit.
you do
Whether
rag
you're-
on, you know, the race issue a lot. I'm just joking.
I love all my brothers and sisters. Oh,
In the
this is a
clan.
funny. In the clan. No, that's
No,
not true.
that's jokes. Just jokes.
But I love.
They don't call
you
it
know,
the clan anymore.
I love the super. You know, I like remember Bonner, the super strict Pentecostal, like ultra conservative.
Yeah.
Love that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. You know, he would probably hate because I also love, you know, my
I also love revenge.
LGBTQ friends.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
And anyway, yeah, it's been a. You know what? I'm a real arsehole for complaining about it. But fuck, I saved up for 11 years. I bought myself a fishing. I was so proud of myself. And it feels like it just might as well have been burned to the fucking
I
ground.
mean, do I need to say it? Do I need to say that
Yeah, I
pride
know.
cometh before fall?
Well, and it wasn't, you know. It just reminded me of Dad, that place. You would have loved it. Now it's going to be
Yeah.
trailer park. Oh, well.
Well, I mean, it does fit our brief.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. And it wasn't easy come, but it sure was easy go.
We're not the elite folk that have the nice things. We are the people who have the things that
Yeah.
are a thing.
We would have normally bought the place across from the trailer park because it was cheap.
Cheaper because of the trailer
That's
park.
and you know what? I got the place for the trailer park price. In fairness, I got the place
you
for
go.
the price that you would pay for the place across from the trailer park.
Yeah, there
and
you go.
that's what
And
I
now-
ended up with.
You know, it's
So-
the thing that is us. Because, you know, yeah, like my motorcycle would have been great to have got one that fit me. But, you know, that didn't rattle and rust when I drove it on a rough surface, seeing how it's a dirt bike. But
No.
when we go camping, those our friends, they're in their high class
Homemade
fully
camper. Yeah.
homemade camper that
With outdoor
houses
speakers.
all of their stuff,
Yeah.
and their air conditioning, and we're in the Coleman tent with my rust bucket thing,
And
it's the
a
thing.
snake gun.
and it does the thing that we needed it to do. Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of motorcycles, did you get that email that I sent you with that? Because so it's been 2 years now since I've started riding motorcycles.
Yeah.
And now I can go for I'm currently on an RE license or a
Right.
restricted license, and now I can go for my R license, so an unrestricted license, meaning that I can ride whatever size motorcycle, so desire.
No.
Which basically means that I can ride
No.
one that I can afford.
No, I didn't get the email. But
It's a 2014 Road King, and
oh yeah,
yeah,
that's a new
it just
bike.
looks. Well, it's
That's
only
a brand new bike.
Yeah, it's not overly expensive. So I'm thinking that it's not overly expensive because I'm thinking that I might get something for my bike currently.
Somebody might have died on it.
Well,
You know,
that's I
we
don't know.
don't
Does
we
that-
don't believe in hauntings.
Yeah.
Like we've established that we're skeptical.
I mean, if someone died on it because the wheel's at a right angle, well, that's a deal breaker. But if someone just like died on it,
Yeah, I've got Dad's Road King Classic here, as you know, and
yeah.
I haven't driven it much this year. I haven't been out on the bikes much because I've just had this. It's hard to
Fishing camp.
explain, but I've had. Well, no, it's the feeling of foreboding. I felt that something horrendous. I'm due. You know, I don't know if it's going
it
to
doesn't
be
matter. There's
a
always
health
going to be
issue
something.
but I just figured I don't want it to be me in a wheelchair. So this year I've been biking a
Yeah.
little less.
That would be a downer.
I was out
But
on
when
the
I
bikes.
come home next, I do plan on doing like a little motorcycle.
Oh yeah,
trip
I'm gonna
somewhere.
take you. I'm gonna take you all over the place. We got
I
a few-
don't want to necessarily go on the highways. I like back roads.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you. Dad used to take me out to the Evandale Ferry. Now the roads are terrible, so you have to go slow, but it's still a very nice ride.
Well, slow is fine though. I don't mind
Yeah.
slow. It's the speed that I find is most killer.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that said, I
as
am
you know,
ri-
Dad souped up as his last.
I know.
as his last.
His last
expense.
fever dream.
Yeah, he souped up his bike with a Stage 2 upgrade.
I don't know, but I drove it around your block and I didn't take it at first, and I was like, "Ooh, this is peppy."
Yeah, it's got a lot of grunt.
You should take it out for a ride though, because probably the petrol inside of it's going off.
Oh, it's not. I haven't ridden it that little. I've taken it to work
Oh.
and stuff a few times.
Okay.
But today, so do you remember Dad and I were working on an old Honda CB750,
No,
1978? Okay,
I
so
do remember
we had,
that you guys have been building a guitar for the last 25 years.
Yeah, that I don't even know where the pieces are. I
I-
think we lost
I
them in
do.
the basement flood.
No, they're downstairs on his thing on the It's
They're still
yeah,
in the
it's kinda-
clamps.
it's got a vaguely it's got a vague guitar shape to it,
Yeah.
but that's about it.
But anyway, I bought a motorcycle when I was a resident in Halifax. It's a 1978 Honda CB750. It never worked well, and I bought it. Again, this was a guy who's probably a meth dealer in a trailer park.
It's okay.
He had it all painted in skulls and flames and stuff.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's kind of rusted out, and Dad and I fixed the exhaust. We put on new carburetors. We put on new suspension, but the bike wasn't driving that well. And then a couple of years ago, it dumped all its gas onto the floor of the shed at the
That's
cottage.
unlucky. That's never a good sign.
And I assumed the gas tank had rotted out. So I took it in to get it plasticized, meaning getting the interior of the tank plasticized so that if there was a hole...
And now it's frozen in carbonite.
Oh, well, listen what they did. They took the tank off and plasticized the interior and the exterior. So I have a plastic tank, and the rest of the bike is painted in skull flame theme with just a plasticized tank. But the gas tank cover is not plasticized. It still has a few flames that abruptly end at your crotch.
Neat.
Yeah, it's ugly as sin. But anyway, the bike still wasn't working, and after that, it dumped another tank of gas on my shed floor last winter. So I said, I don't think this is leaking from the tank.
Jeez.
So I fiddled with the petcock, fuel petcock, and sure enough, there's gas dripping out of it. I was like, fuck. So I did get a new fuel petcock, and I installed it myself. And I know, that doesn't sound like a big job to anybody else, but I am mechanically terrible.
Yeah.
But I got this thing in, and I took the bike
same.
out today, and it was wicked. It drives way better. So that thing must have been gummed
Drives
up.
like a dream.
It must have been gummed up and starving the bike for gas or something, because now it drives fine. So I took it to Mum's house where I had a different bike parked, and parked it in her garage, and took the other bike. The other bike's broken. I don't know what's wrong with it. When you start in first gear, it goes...
That's the thing about motorcycles, is that only one person can drive them at a time. So maybe it's just that they sit too long.
Yeah, and I have not been driving much. Like I said, I drove Dad's bike a couple times this year, and that's pretty much it. I
love riding motorcycles.
I do too. Yeah.
Mine is
the
current.
Talked about it. I think
my current one is only 500 cc's, and it's rather small. So I'm looking forward to the upgrade, because the road, like the speed limit on the roads here is about 100 kilometers per hour for the most part.
Yeah.
And when I'm up to 100 kilometers per hour,
it's just vibrating.
It feels like no, it's very smooth, but it does feel like death is imminent because it's like revving full tilt, and it's a light bike. It's only 200 kilograms or something, so like the wind blows me around. So.
Now, all bikes I find I buffet a lot in the wind, but now the big bikes are great. They're great on the highway and stuff, but I find the little bikes handle way better. So you have to take your turns really carefully when you upgrade.
Yeah. Well, I do like this bike going up the mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, the only thing that's happened to me thus far, and again, the power of yet, is that someone rear-ended me and broke my tail thing. But
the tail light, yeah.
Tail light.
Yeah. Well, and then you had a gas station Karen yell at you. Because you took too long filling up your tires.
Yeah. That was people good. Are jerks,
You know what? They are. Jeez. And I don't mean to say this and convince everyone to lose their faith in humanity, because there are a lot of nice people out there. In fact,
most of them are doing it for views.
The majority of people are nice. But a few assholes really spoil the fucking pie. It's like...
Oh, absolutely.
It's like assholes are like fecal coliform in your food. It doesn't take many of them to really fuck up your day.
You know what?
95% of that chicken breast was fine. But the 5% that was contaminated with fecal coliforms is why you're miserable.
Not great.
Yeah.
The thing that really gets me going at the moment... and... I don't give into it, like I don't comment on any of these things, but anything on the Telegraph Journal that people can comment on, especially around vaccination.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it?
Like, and the vaccination passports and how people are so against them. Yeah. And they're like, oh, what is this, Nazi Germany? I'm like, no.
I understand. Look, I understand that people don't want... I understand why they don't want it, in theory, because they don't want to get vaccinated. But, it's really frustrating because we are... Now, I'll say this. I think if they came out and said, look, this virus was made in a lab in China to disrupt our healthcare system, to bring it to its knees, and to tank our economy. So if you don't want the vaccine, you're helping the Chinese, then I think a lot of people would get on board with, oh, fuck, I don't want the vaccine, but I really don't want a bioweapon in my body, right? But no one's ever going to say that because they don't want World War III to start.
It's so stupid.
It's just people don't. I don't know. They don't understand like how vaccines work, and they think they know fucking everything. You know, it's like,
and that's it. Like it's the stupid people that are leading this. Like they use big words like cytokine storm or something along those lines, and they think that
and fuck, listen, cytokine storm is a real thing when you have COVID. You
I know.
Can die of it.
I know. So they get that, and then they gum up all the rest of their information
Isn't it?
And
Doesn't
they
it just
twist it
piss
to
you
some-
off?
Oh, they're so like, it's just so stupid.
And they present the stupid misinformation as though it's factual reality.
And they think that by mandating that people have to have a vaccine in a job is against the law, and it's impinging on their freedoms.
I couldn't go to medical school without being vaccinated, and that was that was
same
25 years ago.
But also, they don't understand that their freedom is not freedom to be vaccinated. We're not mandating that they have to be vaccinated, but they do have to be vaccinated to work at that particular job, but they're completely free not to work at that job.
Yeah, and look, I would definitely understand if you were allergic to something in the vaccine or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a medical reason why you can't have the vaccine, that's fine, but it's not
Yeah,
a medical reason.
you shouldn't be excluded from society just because of that. And I think their point is that it creates two classes of citizens, but you are creating that I don't know. It's
yourself
frustrating.
by not
I don't
getting
know.
the vaccination. Yeah,
as I said, I'm not Nazi Germany. I'm not trying to force everyone to do things they don't want to do. But at the same time, look, and then on top of all this, there's the Delta variant that is, frankly, like looking at Israel, they got a lot of infections. And I assume it's because it's essentially broken through the vaccine barrier to some extent, right? Because
I think that's the other thing is that
essentially
these
vaccinated.
anti-vaxxers are saying is that they're...
But it gives them the excuse, they don't even do anything.
If you're vaccinated, why do you care if I'm not vaccinated? And it's because they don't understand anything about how viruses work and how they can replicate and mutate. Yeah. And that if you're vaccinated, you have some protection against that. But
and they don't understand the R number, right?
But unvaccinated people are the ones that are going to get the virus. It's going to mutate, and then you'll have the next variant, which may not respond to the vaccine. So then it is affecting us.
And it's crazy. And it's like when George Bush got on that fucking freight ship, the aircraft carrier with the big sign behind him that said victory, 2 weeks after the start of the war in Iraq. And it was like, dude, you've just stepped into a 20-year war. You don't get to declare victory.
So here in Australia, the health officers have more jurisdiction in times like these than the politicians. Is that the same way over there?
No, they had unelected officials probably shouldn't have too much power no matter what because they're unelected, but they should have some say, right? But unfortunately, all their jobs depend on the politicians who hired them. So we have a doctor who's the head of, I don't know, she's the physician for New Brunswick. She's like a local celebrity now, right? Because they did a great job for a year and a half. Yeah. But then they opened the province up. They said no restrictions, no masks, no nothing, as the Delta variant is getting loose here.
Yeah, that's pretty silly.
So yesterday we had 15 cases of community transmission. And you go, okay, of these variants that, let's be honest, we're vaccinated, but we can still get it and we can still spread it all the fuck over the place. Yeah. So what was the plan? I don't understand how this can be the plan, that we're just gonna we're gonna cut and run. We're never gonna take any precautions again, because we're gonna generate an extra $1 million in tax revenue. I mean, I'm never going to a restaurant again until this is sorted, because I can't get this and then go into work and give it to all my patients. First of all, I'd be liable for killing them. And I couldn't live with myself if I did that. Or if I gave it to Mom and she died, or if I gave it to Jack and he got brain damage. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Been driven mostly by economics over there than it has been the health of the citizens.
Well, and I think they look at before this latest wave hit the States, you looked at Florida and you said, yeah, okay, well, they took down the restrictions. They gave anybody who wanted a vaccine had it. And there was no Delta variant, and the vaccines were 94% effective. And that may be all you can do. But now there's a variant where the vaccines, let's be honest, they're not 94% effective. Whatever they are, it's not that anymore. So you're kind of back to square one with no restrictions in place, and now Florida's, they can't get fucking oxygen. They're sending patients from Texas to Colorado for oxygen because there's no, like, they're just swamped, right? And it's weird. Yeah. Life is going on like normal, and like, to me, it's like the hospital's on fire and everyone outside is out drinking at a pub shoulder to shoulder at the pub next door. It just drives me crazy. Now, my views are more conservative and more, probably not really aligned with either Republican or Democrat in the States, but more centrist than 95% of the people that are on any podcast that you're going to hear. But even so, if you hear me saying this is nuts, you know that, like, from a scientific perspective, what's happening has got to be pretty fucking nuts. I don't know.
Well, it is pretty nuts, but I mean, you are also pretty nuts. So,
well, look, and somebody obviously knows that because I have zero power. Nothing I say will ever be of any consequence.
And that's the majority of all people, though, which is why
I'm not even on social media anymore. Like, I quit Twitter. I still have my little Facebook profile so I can have, like, Rebecca make fun of me for having my stroke-like symptoms.
That was hilarious, though.
Yeah, she was dead on, too.
I was like, drama?
Yeah, dead on. So last week we were supposed to record, and what happened was I took Jack fishing, and it's a heat wave, like I said, and felt like about 40 degrees Celsius. So you're talking like 105, 110 Fahrenheit. I don't know how it works.
I don't know.
Double it and add 30, 110. So was standing out there on this little dock in Hampton, and he was fishing, and I was getting eaten by flies and stuff. And the way the sun was flashing off the water, it just started, like, giving me this weird feeling, like,
that in combination with your microdosing of psilocybin.
Yeah, exactly. And I started thinking, geez, am I about to get a headache? And then it hit like a fucking freight train, this headache. And then my fucking hand stopped working. Like, I could not make my hand work. And I felt my face getting all tingly.
And I said, Jack, have to drive home, mate.
Well, I said, you got to, Jack, I said, if I can't get to the car, you're going to have to take my phone out of my pocket and call 911. He's like, I'm going to fish for a bit longer. I said, no, I don't think you understand what I'm saying, dear. I said, like, I think I just have a migraine, but I might be having a stroke, and I need you to get in the car right now. So eventually he got his stuff together and came up to the car, and I had the air conditioning blasting and stuff, and I got in the car and I started driving home, and then I missed my turn. Like, I was just so confused. I shouldn't have been driving. And then my whole face went totally numb, but if I touched the other side, it was really tender. So I thought, okay, this sounds like migraine, trigeminal neuralgia kind of stuff. And got home, came into the house, and I was just, like, overwhelmed with pain for about 20 minutes. And then it kind of started to go down, and the headache was just, like, more like a normal headache. And then by the next day I was okay, but I felt really weird. It was a really weird experience. And I did not want to go to the hospital. Like, Chrissy was like, you're going to the hospital. And I said, I'm not going. If it's a stroke, I'll just live with the brain damage.
Oh my gosh. I didn't see that in the text messages terrain. But I did see, like, you sent me that you rewiring the trailer. Yeah. And Chrissy was like, Jake, do you think that we probably, like, that we should have looked at this before we bought it? I was like, ooh, not helping.
Yeah, I didn't, I never lost my temper about the trailer, but...
Did it work now? Does it work now?
No. No. I think I've done some Googling. Like, this is an amazing day and age because I am, as obviously, mechanically an idiot. But I can Google that problem and I can find an electrician's solution to that problem. And the problem, I think, is the grounding wire. So I either have to sand part of the trailer down and then come up with some kind of rivet system to get the grounding wire in, or I have to hire somebody to do it, which is
No,
what I'm
you know
going to do.
what it will be? It will be that where you've twisted the wires, one of the wires will be touching another one of the wires.
Well, I thought of that, except I did them all individually. Like, it took me
I know.
hours.
Well, you know, it's funny because this story is familiar to me because I didn't rewire the trailer, but I rewired Aaron's car because that's what we used to pull the trailers. And as soon as I hooked it up, her headlights started flashing.
You
and
blew the
radio
fuse.
kept turning. No, it just the radio kept flashing and the radio turned on and off.
Windshield
and I was
wipers
like,
are going.
yeah, and I was like, I fucked up. So I followed her because I was like, well, this is not safe because the four-way flashers were going. It was just like haywire. So I was like, okay, well, I'll follow you into the mechanic. I called them and I was like, I've done something stupid. Can you please fix my fuck up? And I went there and the guy came out and he was like, oh yeah, this is a bit messy. And he was like, oh yeah, this one wire like had frayed and part of the wire was touching the terminal of the other one in the socket. And he just clipped it off, and everything worked totally fine after that. And he
Except
charged me
now, when $30.
she
steps on the brakes, it honks the horn. But that, other than that, it's totally back
Other
to
than
normal.
that, it's fine. And, you know, it's not bad because the brakes don't work. So it's... well, that's Aaron calling me to tell me I have to go watch Alice in
All right,
Horror
bro.
Show.
I love you.
So, I love you too. I
see you
will...
later,
hold on,
weirdos.
let me play us out here because we're professional. Well, until next time, weirdos. Hopefully it won't be such a long period of time, but you never know. All right.
Yeah, we got to get a Halloween episode in.
Well, you never know. Maybe we will.